all-time favorite stories of teaching music to young children. At the end of every class, we had like a lullaby, right? And the kids have been moving and dancing and doing all of this kind of stuff. And it's parent-child classes, right? So what we did was we were using this song, which you probably know, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine," right? But I'd slowed it down, right? So it was, "This little light of mine," right? And at the end of the class, we always really gently turn the lights back up, and then we'd like sing a goodbye song. So there was this little one. She was about 3 years old, and she was sitting in her mama's lap, singing the lullaby and singing a lullaby. And then she got up and she starts moving, right? Like this. And everybody else in the class, they were like, quiet, and it's dark or reduced lighting. And when the lights came on, I started putting the lights on. She goes like this.
Really?
Because she felt that her song turned the lights on.
Oh my God.
It was
Such
one
magic.
of the beautiful, magical moments in my life. Honest to God.
Oh my gosh.
So beautiful.
Have you ever experienced something so crippling in your life that has made you feel broken? I have. Are you someone who has a giving heart but is struggling to feel good themselves? Are you consistently putting your needs aside to take care of everyone else? If so, you're not alone. Giving starts with giving to yourself so that you are able to give of yourself to other people. Isn't it time you took back control and discovered what makes you tick? Join me in my journey and find out how you can feel better about yourself, live your best life, and share that with others. Thinking of yourself, it doesn't make you selfish. It makes you brave. I'm Nelia, and this is the Giving Starts With You podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Giving Starts With You podcast, where we try to give you the tools to help you through your journey. Because let's face it, we all have challenges, and on this show, we try to really help you with different strategies, different tools. And you guys all know how much I love music, and you know how much I believe music is healing. Well, today I am so excited to share with you a new friend that I have just met here online over the screen, but I feel like I already know her in person. Ashana, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful, Nelia. I'm so glad to be with you. This is just wonderful. This is exciting. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And her beautiful background, we'll have to get into that. So everybody, I just want you to welcome performer, recording artist, sound healer, and teacher Ashana to the Giving Starts With You podcast. Ashana is one of the premier healing music artists and new age vocalists of our time. She weaves together soaring, angelic vocals and the celestial sound of alchemy crystal singing bowls. This is something I don't know too much about, and I am so excited to learn more. This exquisitely crafted sonic tapestry has been hailed by listeners all over the world as breathtaking and a gift from heaven. A lifelong student of yoga and mantra for many of the world's spiritual traditions, Ashana has led 2 online meditations touching the lives of more than 20,000 people in 50 countries, if you can believe it. As a renowned master crystal bowl artist, teacher, and sound healer, Ashana is an expert in the field of sound healing with crystal bowls, training students from all over the world in the art of applying crystalline sound to therapeutic and artistic healing modalities in her Crystal Bowl Mastery Program. Ashana lives near Sedona, Arizona, with her husband, native Hawaiian healer, James Kauai Nui. I hope I said that. I hope I pronounced his name all right. Ashana, I am so excited to have you here, honestly. And we all know that music is healing. And music can be a very powerful tool to get us through those challenging times, to help us get up in the morning, to connect ourselves, to set intentions, all of those things. And I am ready to learn from you, girl. Like I just I am so excited to have my audience learn from you and for you to just help us understand how music can be so healing. So I've got to ask you,
Okay.
beautiful bowls in the background. This is your home.
This
This
is my
is your sanctuary. This is a
home.
beautiful, without even hearing them, I can feel the peace. And I just want to tell the audience that they're in for a treat. There will be a recording that I'm going to share at the end of this podcast. And you guys are going to be delighted. You're going to be peaceful. I want you to put your headphones on, and it's going to be amazing. So, besides your bio, Ashana, who are you? Who are you? And give us something above the bio. Can you tell us something that will just connect us with you and what you do?
You know, Nelia, that's such a wonderful question. Um, and the way I want to answer it is to respond to your invitation to everybody in the group. You know, people who are having challenges, people who have, and we all have challenges, people who have been struggling, could be with our mental wellness, could be with our emotional wellness, could be with our physical wellness. And I want everybody to know that I've been there. And I've walked that path too. I have to say that music and sound, vibration, energy healing has been a lifeline for me in many, many ways, in just a wide gamut of ways. It's been that place where I could find my joy. It's been that place where I finally learned to quiet my mind down. It's been a place where I can rest. It's been a place where I learned how to affirm myself. It's been a place where I've grown. It's been a place where I've confronted a lot of my shadow, and those, when I say shadow, those parts of our mind, our psychology that can present so many of our challenges. It's been the place where when those challenges, it's been actually a proving ground for those challenges, as I've had to learn to be persistent. I had to learn to develop discipline. I had to learn to face my pride. A place where I had to learn humility. A place where I learned to love myself. A place where I learned that about perfectionism and how to overcome that. A place where I learned about resistance. A place where I've learned to serve. A place where I've learned to connect with my higher power, God, Goddess, all that is. And if it wasn't for sound and vibration, I don't know that I would have a spiritual practice. So that's
Wow.
bio.
And here it is. This is amazing. I mean, already you have given us so much insight into all the reasons and all the benefits and all the things that music can do for anyone listening. So thank you for sharing that. How did this journey begin? When did this start? Your interest with music?
Like when I was a little girl, that was one of those things, where you just have this love And honestly, I think most children have that, because in my experience teaching music to young children, which I did for many years, you know, I I have to say, I hardly ever met a kid that didn't. You know, the exuberance of moving, the exuberance of singing and letting your voice out, um, the love of just singing along in community, with voices raised together, the love of playing an instrument and using the physicalness of your body to make sound. I think this is inherent in all of humanity. And so I had that, growing up. So I started learning my first instrument when I was just a little girl, but I always knew that I wanted to sing. And through a bunch of circumstances in my childhood, that door really didn't open for me until I was a teenager. And by that time, I'd already been playing guitar. I'd been writing my own songs. I was, performing at the church, and that I was raised in. Um, and at that point in time, I'd gone to a high school that had a specialized program in music and the arts for teenagers, for the people in the high school, and I joined my first madrigal choir, when I was, in ninth grade? So I forget how old I was, have been 12 or 13. And it was amazing.
Mm.
That piece of singing music that was so beautiful. It was like 16th century, 17th, 16th, 15th, 16th century madrigals. And it's like an open and a whole new world for me. And we were like a small choir of maybe 12 to 16 people. And we trained, we had classes every day, and then we would go out, because I grew up in New York City. I remember the times we would sit and go to the park in Washington Square Park in Greenwich Village, and we would all gather down there because our music teacher lived in the village, and we would just sing. And this was before the buskers, right? This is before like everybody got their camera on and all of a sudden you're viral, right? This was just because you did it, because you weren't trying to get on a social media feed,
It
and
felt good, and that was
you
it.
just did it because it felt amazing and because it made you happy. And there was this just collective love of sound and community. It was so wonderful. And from there, I went to college, and I got introduced to musical theater, and I fell in love. And then I went to conservatory at the Mannes College of Music in New York City, and I was introduced to opera and classical music, and I got to sing with orchestras, and I got to sing in ensembles, and then I had I went into summer theater and stock, and was dinner theater, and I was doing musicals like Showboat and Irene, and Sullivan, and then it's just like it just kind of went. I just kept following my joy.
And Shauna, I've got to ask you, because in this world today, people are so determined to do everything in order. And we were just speaking about how my son is at a crucial part in his life where he's deciding what he wants to do. And a lot of his friends are saying, well, you need to go after the money. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I'm like, just go where your heart is telling you and go where your passion is. So I just wanted to ask you, because you're someone who is living the dream. You're living your life intentionally, purposefully, in the way that you choose to do that. What advice would you give some of those people today that are maybe have some fear about living that, with all the people maybe in their ears saying, well, music can't be something that you can make a life out of. Music can't be, it's just a hobby. Like sometimes you're right. As a child, I don't know any kids that don't gravitate to music. But as an adult, we start to have responsibilities and people lose that connection, which I find is one of the most saddest things,
It is.
because people just stop doing what they love.
Yes.
And another thing, in addition to music, one of the things that is healing is doing what you love. So can you give anybody, maybe there's somebody out there right now who's listening who wants to do music or who wants to do some type of art, and they're just fearful of what people are going to say, or can they make a career out of it? Or, I don't know. I just feel like you're the poster woman for how it, can be. And I want to encourage people to continue with the arts.
Well, I want to have a little caveat to what you said, because I think it's not just about the arts. We have that feeling inside of us that just goes, I want to be outside. I want to be a gardener. I want to be a botanist. I want to work with animals. I want to cook. I wanna, and it's that little thing inside of you that when you feel it, expand. And you know this, you could tune into your own energy. So hopefully everybody understands what I mean when I say that. So we all have an energetic makeup. And when you feel, and just get quiet for a moment, and you can close your eyes and just kind of settle into your own body and sense in your entire body. And when you think about something that you're doing or that you're passionate about or that you're drawn to, and you feel your energy expand. And what I mean by that is you may start to feel happy. You may start to feel a sense of lightness. You may start to feel a sense of joy. You may feel this thing inside of you that goes, wow, wouldn't that be amazing? I would just love to do that. So that's step one, is being able to tune in to that sensation and that feeling. And recognize it, that that's your soul speaking to you. That is the voice of your inner being, your essence self. That is the voice of your God self, just calling you to part of your purpose. Now, some of that might be, I want to help somebody. I want to be a healer. It could be, I want to write. I need to dance. So it doesn't matter what it is. When my dad was growing up and he was a young man, he got the opportunity to be a printer. And he became a printer for the New York Daily News.
Wow.
And back in the 1940s, he had his apprenticeship and he wanted to be a printer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he stayed with that. And then he also had an eye for photography. And so he leaned into that. And so it's just, you follow that sweet voice within. Now, I want to tell everybody that following your dream doesn't mean that you don't work hard, that you don't have to discipline yourself, that you don't have to make choices in order for you to support that dream, because that's part and parcel for most of us. So I worked full time as a secretary for a long, long time. I put myself through conservatory by working 20 to 25 hours a week for the Federalist Music Society as a secretary on a typewriter that wasn't a computer.
You put in the reps for sure.
Baby, I put in the reps, and it was like going to school at conservatory full time, working 20 hours a week. When I was in conservatory, I spent a semester at the Eastman School of Music, and I needed a job. Honey, I mopped floors. They didn't even want to give me that job. They were like, at that time, it was like, oh, you're a girl. We don't want to do that. And I was like, give me the mop, So I can do this.
I'm so glad you said that because people think, oh, dream and everything's going to come to you and it's natural. No. And most of the time, you have to work harder at your dream than you do anything else.
You do, because a lot of the resistance from the mental resistance goes, well, it comes in so many forms. Well, look at so and so over there. They don't have to do this. I mean, that can come in. Believe me, I had that voice, why is it? I don't know. So,
And and when you get there, when you finally know what that thing is, then you've got all the resistance from other people.
oh
So you
my
have to
God.
rise above that, right?
Mhm.
So there's like two huge things playing against us, but I know that your music can really help us tune in to what we love to do. Can you tell
Absolutely.
me a little bit about how what you do, and it's just how it can help and how it can um just inspire someone who may be struggling? Or I know that you work with in setting intentions and how this is a fantastic way to do those things. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, let's go back to how I do what I do, and then yes, we'll definitely get to those intentions. When the crystal bowls came into my life, it was just somebody who said to me, do you know what these are? Have you ever heard of them? And I said, no. And they said, these are right up your alley. So I got one sight unseen, and then 3 weeks later, I had seven, and now, I mean, here we are. And
Oh, do you dust them all? No,
no, but I do play them all regularly, or as much as I possibly can. So what I began to understand with the crystal singing bowls is that when I played them, I felt calmer, and I began to have the experience of my mind quieting down. And what happens with this kind of sound, and I have some over here, you can't see them, but this is one of my first crystal bowls. This is a rose quartz bowl. And did I even bring a mallet? No, I got to reach over for a mallet just so you can hear this sound. And just everybody, just take a moment here, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So if you just close your eyes for a second and just let this sound begin to fill you. Right? And then when we go around the rim, it does that. And I don't know if you can hear this from where I'm sitting. I do my best to make this possible. Let's just say you have one, right? Here's our beautiful rose quartz. And we add another. And another.
beautiful.
Right? And this sound is so soothing that when people hear it, literally, and tell me if you can't hear me, because
I can hear you, yes.
okay. But literally, when people hear this sound, within minutes, things start to happen. Their breath begins to slow down, so the respiration. begins to slow. The heart rate begins to slow. And those crazy thoughts that usually occupy our brain, our mind, they begin to slow down.
You almost feel the vibration in your body as well. So
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You
So
begin
are
to-
they different notes and tones and depending on because I see there's so many different variations. So are they all tuned to different notes as well?
Well,
Or
the
is it
bowls don't
just
come out in tuning. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it's okay.
They don't come out. You don't make a certain note with
Okay.
these particular kinds of bowls. There are other instruments where you set you set the technical aspect for making the instrument, and then you determine that you want this to be a D or a C or a
Right.
B or an A. It doesn't work that way with these particular kind of alchemy crystal singing bowls. So the bowls are put into we use gem silica, which is a quartz, and it is put into a graphite mold, and it is fired at 4,000 degrees, and into the mold is either infused into the gem silica or applied as a second firing are precious gemstones, minerals, metals, and I think it's just gemstones, minerals, and metals. Yes. So we might have like rose quartz or rose quartz with gold, or emerald with platinum, or diamond with,
Okay.
or Tibetan quartz on copper. So, we have many, many, many different kinds of alchemies that we could call them alchemies because we're taking one substance, which is the gem silica or the gemstone and the metal, and we're blending it together. And now we're turning it a metal or a gemstone into something that looks like this.
Mhm.
So it is an alchemy. It's a beautiful alchemy,
I'm
actually.
learning so much today. I
I'm so
really
glad.
am. I'm just so interested. So interested.
So what
Okay.
happens with all of that, kind of back to your original question, which was a little while ago. So what happens is that when this is introduced, there's multiple things that are happening actually, because it's quartz based and because our physiognomy is in no small way also crystalline based in nature. Our skeletal system, parts of our brain, obviously all the fluids that run in our body, the water molecules, that's a quartz based structure as well. We learned that from Masato Emoto with the nature of water, and so because of that, there is a natural resonance between the sound of the bowls and our bodies and our own energy field. And the cool thing is that our skeletal system kind of acts like a big antenna for the quartz crystal. And so when we hear this sound, it comes into our energy field. And if people know about the chakras, these are the energy centers or vortices of energy that we can locate them in the physical, but we also have chakras that work in our energy field, which can expand out usually for most people to 6 to 9 feet. So once we have this sound, this vibration that's coming in, it's like the chakras go, wow, vibration, high vibration, I'll take that in. And they take that in and they send the message all the way down in through the brain, into the central nervous system, down the channel, which goes yippee, and then it passes all of that all the way down to all of the energy centers in our body. And before you know it, we're vibrating. We're receiving all the frequencies. We're vibrating. We've been entrained, literally. That big dominant sound of the bowl has started entraining us to that sound. And if you have intention and you place intention with this, and the intention of the player or the receiver is that this sound is profoundly healing. It could be an intention of peace. It could be an intention of wellness. It could be an intention just to relax, right? And we receive that intention. It's like everything just kind of expands more, right? So we're receiving very subtle frequencies of high vibrational, for lack of a better word, information. So,
When I hear your music, it makes me feel okay. So, yes, it is beautifully sounding and, very pleasant. But more than that, it feels like a massage for my soul, like the inside, because we all like going to massages and we feel it on the outside. But something about the vibration, even now, like my hairs are standing up. Something about the vibe, it just feels like this connection that I don't get from something else.
yeah.
And it's for the inside. And I didn't understand until you just explained it about the skeletal system and how it just, thank you for doing that, because I can it makes more sense to me. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? So I love that you were able to connect that with the actual body, like the physical body, because it feels like a massage for the inner parts of me.
It is. It's exactly what it is. And because it is like soul music, and soul music when you hear it. It doesn't have to be with bowls. It could be, and I'm not talking about R&B and soul music. I'm talking about music that just when you hear it, it just immediately touches something inside of you and has that place where it goes right into your heart, right into the emotions, right into that space that's most needing that sound. But there's something about the alchemy bowls, when we and I'm one of the first people. I'm a pioneer in this genre. I mean, we actually more likely than not, there were a couple people that were creating music with the crystal singing bowls prior to myself and Thomas Barkey, my producer. But we were the very first ones, and we continue to do this in all of the music we create, that took it to a whole other level. I mean, my producer is just an incredibly world-known producer for sacred vocal music and chant. And when we got together and we started putting the bowls inside of this, everything we did, because of our expertise as musicians, up until that point, pretty much anybody that was working with bowls was not a musician. They were people that were really connecting into sound, and they were loving the bowls, and so you might hear them, chanting or singing. But when Thomas and I went in there with All Is Forgiven, which we did in 2006, it's my first album, all of a sudden we took this experience and we said, wow, what if we did this to it? And it went boom, like this. It took it to a level of artistry and beauty that had never happened before. And on some levels, that's still continuing to happen, because we just released some new music, just came out, and we've got an incredible new program that's coming out early 2024, which we're beta testing right now. But we've taken like sound healing and just put it into this place, sound healing with bowls, right? Put it into this place of, this is musical artistry and sound healing together. Okay. And I think that's part of the reason why people have that response to our music. We've had people that the very first song we released and recorded, it was an Ave Maria on All Is Forgiven. And literally we have millions and millions of people that have listened to this song and have had healings over and over and over again, just from that one piece. And if I had sung it without the bowls, it wouldn't have had the impact that it did. And if I had not had the bowls inside of the track when I was singing it, I don't know that what happened to me would have quite happened in the way that.
Right.
So, there is this high vibrational frequency of light and sound and color. Because the bowls, as you can see, they're all
Yes.
these
They're
different
beautiful.
rainbow of beautiful colors. And when you take that, the color frequency, which our energy bodies is so responsive to, whether we can see it or not, we're still responding to that frequency of color. I'm looking down here at my rose quartz bowl, and this beautiful bowl, which is, I don't know if you can see it, but let me see the platinum, the green, and the iridescence
Yes.
that's
Beautiful.
happening. This bowl is actually made of iron, and it's 100% pure quartz crystal. And this blue one, which is diamond, and this, several behind me here. So the color frequency, the sound frequency, which is truly angelic. There's just no other way around it.
And
And
your voice is so precious.
yes, and the vocals too, because the vocals are a huge part. I mean, my own experience of singing with the bowls changed my voice and changed the way I approach singing. I never sang the way I sang really
Mm.
until
You
I
merged them.
I met the bowls, and I was like, oh, it's like this, and I just began exploring and experimenting with that. And it was Thomas who said to me, this is what you need to do. And, and he's been like my cheerleader from, for the
That's
last
great.
17 years,
Yes.
so.
And we live in what I feel is such a broken world right now.
Oh my God.
And I think people need this. I think they need this as much as they need other healing practices. And I
Yeah.
think they need this in their daily life. And I
Yes.
think this can really benefit not just mental health, but illnesses and
Yeah.
just, the world is so torn and sad right now that I think people really need to feel more
Yes.
and analyze less. And so I really invite people to listen to your music and to not just listen to it, but experience it and to feel it. And it's like medicine, really.
Can I share about this program that we're doing?
Yes, I would love for you to do that.
Because just based on what you just said,
Mm.
one of the things that I felt so strongly about, we were talking earlier before we jumped on this, started recording the podcast. We were chatting, Nelia and I, about bringing music to children that are in need, and they don't have the opportunity. And in some ways, I felt the same way about the bowls, because I'm in a very privileged position. I believe that. Where how many people do you know that like have 110 crystal singing bowls, alchemy crystal? I mean, nobody that I know. I mean, I know a few people. They're all people who play crystal bowls, but I kept thinking about this. For years, I'd been thinking about this, and I wanted to give people a place where they could have like an in-depth sound healing experience, and they wouldn't have to go out and do the craziness that I do. But also because sound healing right now is trending, and we have people sound healing and bowls and didgeridoos and drums, and it's become a big part of the alternative healing scene. But I kept thinking about this and going, well, but what about all the days in between when you can't go? What are you doing then? And so my team, in the etheric realms, my team said, oh, you're going to do this project. And I was like, oh, really? What do you have in mind? And then one day they just gave me this download complete, like from start soup to nuts. And they said, you're going to do this, and it's going to look like this, and this. And so finally, after actually years of working on this program, we're beta testing it right now through the end of the year, and we'll be releasing it probably in February 2024. And this is called Celestial Alignment for Healing.
Mm.
It is a 7-week online experience with me that you get to do for 90 minutes live with me, and we are creating like an intentional group field to hold people in a healing space through sound. And you have like some crazy, like 2.5, 3 hours worth of recorded music. You have 48 videos that will teach you about sound healing and how it works. And it's going to take you through what it's not a program to learn sound healing. It's a program of how you can deepen your experience and
Mm.
your own wholeness, your own healing and wholeness through sound, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And you can get a taste of this if you go to my YouTube channel, which is Ashana or Sound of Ashana. Ashana Music or Sound of Ashana, I think is the YouTube channel. We can put the links, maybe, Neely. You can put
Yes,
the
absolutely.
but you'll see two videos, actually 3 videos there. And one is called Cosmic Grace, which is the one we just released. Then there's a guided meditation called The Golden Light of Healing. And then there's a mantra for healing, very powerful mantra called Om Apadamapa, which is a Sanskrit mantra for healing. And these are all part of that program.
Okay,
we,
great.
we release the music first, but what you really want to do is that 7 weeks of sitting and being in a community of people
Mm.
that are focused and holding this space of light. And you'll be learning with me actually how to work with this music, how to use it, how to bring it into your life. And we're going to be walking you through all those tough places so that you don't just become a passive listener of music, but we're going to be learning different aspects of how to deepen that relationship so that you can experience some of these, more freedom in your life, more love, more ease, more relaxation, quieting the mind, deeper connection with spirit. We ran like a 5-day we ran a 5-day meditation experience using the golden light of healing. And I did that for my private Facebook group, which anybody can join. It's called Sounds of Spirit. And we ran this, and people are having the most amazing experiences when we create the container. So
Mm.
it's this container, and then you get to be with it on a daily basis. And what happens after 42 days of this is that you are at a new benchmark. You're at a brand new place and way of being. So I really want to invite everybody to come and play with us.
Yes. How would somebody join the program?
Well, right now, because we're beta testing, we
Right.
haven't released it yet. The best thing to do is to just, I think we've got a link for you
Yeah.
to watch videos, and we've got a link for you guys to, I know Ashley Ann, my assistant, has given you
Yes,
a
I
couple
do
of
have
free,
some.
free
Yes.
giveaways. So the minute you do that, then you'll be on our mailing list.
That's
You're on
great.
our mailing list, you're going to find out. You'll be one of the first people to find out about this. And, we'll be giving.
Sounds beautiful. I always
Yeah.
describe music and the healing that it creates as the only thing for me that reaches the parts that I thought were unreachable.
Yes.
There's those parts in us that we didn't even know needed healing until
Yep.
they get there.
Yep.
And then you just melt, like it's just magical. We were talking about how things can become magical.
Yes.
And until you experience it, people are sometimes skeptical.
Mhm.
And until you experience it, and until you're going through something in your life that perhaps you have tried other remedies, you have tried other things. This is just something else that you can add to your arsenal,
Mhm.
and that you may find works much better for you than some of these other traditional things that we turn to in times of despair and times of uncertainty in life. And yeah, I really welcome everybody to be open to the experience. Um, you are a professional. You have been doing this all of your life. I know that you are very musically trained, but also just, you've done the work, you've done the reps, you've done, if anybody's going to, if you guys are looking for anyone to follow, Ashana's the one. So honestly, like, yeah, life is just, it's hard. And we need to open up to these things. We need to, because I know there's some people who may be listening who are all for it and ready to go. And then other people are maybe, well, I don't know if this would work for me. So to those people, I say, try it. Try it, open your mind. And sometimes I think the people who have the more resistance are the ones who really need it the most, you know?
Well, when Thomas and I started doing this, it was really, really quite magical. We we said, you know what? We're going to record all these songs. We're going to write and record these songs, and we're going to be going, watch the hand, watch the hand. And then behind it, there's all this other stuff that's happening that you don't even realize what's going on. And
Yes.
that's, I think, the magic, when there's, that place where we're resisting. And what we're really resisting is coming into our connection with our inner essence. And so believe me, I've been there. I know what that resistance feels like. And and it's challenging because our conditioned mind is such a good protector. It gives us all these reasons to, oh, don't do that, it's going to take too much time, or isn't that silly? That's just a bunch of fluff, and it tells us all these things. But if you can just
Pause it.
pause and just let that sound kind of just do its little thing. And before you know it, what might just start happening is you just start to soften and relax. And when we can I would say, as we soften, as we relax, as we become more receptive, that inner essence, which is all about our peace, it's all about our joy, it's all about love,
Mm.
it's all about connection. It can help us dismantle the fear, dismantle the anxiety, dismantle our resistance. It becomes the most, and I didn't believe this until it started happening for me,
Mm.
it can become the best friend you ever had.
So what would you say is the biggest gift you've ever given to yourself that changed the way you feel, the way you think of yourself? Is it the resistance, going through the resistance?
Oh, wow. The best gift I've ever gave myself.
Yeah, because the podcast is Giving Starts With You, and I
Mhm.
always felt that if you don't allow yourself these gifts, even through the fear, despite
Yeah.
all of these things going on around you, and that your brain is telling you, when you finally give yourself that gift, whatever it may be, then you can start to give to others.
You know, I I wouldn't I wouldn't recognize it in the moment
Mm.
as a gift. Okay? What I do in the moments that I've been like that, been facing my fear and my anxiety, was I just did it. I just said, okay, I'm scared, shitless.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, this let me tell you, just do I have time to tell you a little tiny
Of
story?
course.
Okay. So, um, my eyes don't work together, so I don't have stereoptic vision. And my husband's native Hawaiian, and we were, one of the first times we were in Hawaii together, visiting his family. And he took me to this place where, like, from the time he was a little boy, they would jump off these lava cliffs and into this pool of water. And so he brings me on top of this, we're climbing up the rocks, right? It's on a beach that was very close to his family home. And we look down and he goes, "Okay, we're gonna jump." And the water's this beautiful turquoise, but it's on the big island, right? So it's black lava rock and the center. And I'm standing on the top of this and I'm going, I can't, I can't, I can't jump. And because I'm terrified, because for me, with my eyes, I have no spatial judge of how much is going to go from 20 feet to the water. And I'm paralyzed with fear. And he jumps into the water and he goes, "Honey, I'm right here. Just jump right to me." And for 10 minutes solid, 15 minutes solid, I'm literally paralyzed. I'm standing at the edge. All I got to do is jump into the water. There's nothing. I'm not going to hit myself on any big bad rocks. All I had to do was literally take a breath and jump. I'm paralyzed. I cannot move. I'm shaking. The part of my brain is going, "You do this, you will die." Mm-hmm. And there's the other part of me that's going, "James is there. If he's in the water, I'll be okay. I can just jump." Now I'm crying. And finally, there was this part of me that was like, the big F bomb. That was it. It was like this part that just says, "I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this." And I could feel a part of me going, "No, no, no, danger, Will Robinson, danger." And the other part of me going, "Go!" And it was like, "No, go, no, go, no, go." And finally I just went, "Okay." Boom, right into the water. And I went, like this. It was literally, it was like 3 seconds to the water, maybe if that. And I'm hit the water, go all the way into this pool. I know how to swim. Came back up to this, and I was like, like this. And I started shaking. I literally went into shock. I mean, I got out of the pool. I'm like, because every cell in my body went into a state of shock from that experience, because it was so far. I moved out of my fear so fast. And my husband was like, "It's okay, it's okay." He says, "Lie down on the lava," because the lava was really warm. And I lay down the lava. I'm shaking, I'm shaking. He's covering me with a towel. I'm crying. I'm going, "Oh my God." And as soon as the shaking stopped, I got up and I said, "Good, let's do it again." All right? Boom, right into the water again. And by that point, it was bliss. Mm. It was pure joy. I'm swimming, I'm laughing, I'm crying for happiness. I'm so like, "Oh my God, I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it." I went past my fears. I jumped. I cried. It was hard. It was okay. I'm safe. Mm. And that is a model for all of us. You are going to be scared. You guaranteed. And was I thinking of it in the moment that I'm scared, that this is a gift I'm giving myself? No. I was like, I'm going to do this, because I could feel so strongly the place in myself that said, I can't. And I could feel and see the potential of being in that beautiful turquoise water with this man who absolutely loves me, with his hands wide open, telling me I'm safe and it's going to be amazing. And I went by pure faith. And in the faith and in the retrospect, I look back and I go, "Oh my God, that was a gift." Mm. But in the moment, I didn't know it.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think a lot of us are going to be able to relate with, take that in our own lives, and I think it's going to help.
I hope
Thank you so much.
just do it.
Yeah,
Jump. You're
exactly.
gonna be afraid. You're gonna be scared shitless. Just do it. Just do it.
Ashana, we're getting to the end of our conversation, sadly, but
Oh,
I want to ask you another question.
yeah.
Can you give us maybe one example of somebody that you've worked with that, because I'm sure there have been a lot of powerful stories that have come out of what you do, but is there somebody, or without using names, that you can explain or express to us how your music has helped them in their life?
Oh my goodness.
Because I know you work with a small groups as well, and also tour around the world and with large groups. But I'm sure you've moved many people, and I'm sure there are some powerful stories there. So, yeah, maybe just one, just to explain a little bit about the impact it had on someone's life.
Well, I would have to say, first of all, like with some of my music, I I never hear what happens for people. I just know because people tell me that things happen for them, and I hear stories like that regularly. Um, but I think probably one of the most dramatic ones, which was really kind of mind blowing to me when it did happen, was I was doing a concert in Mount Shasta, California, many, many years ago. And this woman came in a wheelchair. And she told me before the concert that she had broken her pelvis has been in a continuous state, had been in a continuous state of being fractured in 11 places for years. And she was pretty much wheelchair bound. And I did this concert, it was like 2 hours of music and singing and chanting and bowls and, all the kind of stuff we do. And the next day I was walking in town, and she and her husband walked up to me.
Mm. Oh,
She wasn't in a wheelchair. She walked up to me, and they were beaming, and they thanked me because it was the sounds and it was the music, um, that she could walk. She got up out of the chair after the concert.
it's like medicine. It just heals pain, and wow, it gives people so much strength.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
It must be an incredible feeling for you knowing that your music impacts people in that way. It's a beautiful thing. And then that's another reason why you should follow your passion and follow your purpose, and live in your light, really just live the way, despite what everybody else wants for you.
Mhm.
Do what you love,
Do what you
because
love.
yeah, because through that is how you can help others and help others heal as well as yourself. I'm sure that when you do the music, it's healing for yourself too on a daily
Oh my
basis,
God, are you kidding?
not just for others. I'm sure you do it for others, but also for yourself.
I, I do it primarily for myself. I have to say, because every day when I sing or I play instruments, it's a reconnection for me. It's the more I sing, the more joy comes into my being. The more I play bowls, the more expansion I feel. And I tell all my students in my Crystal Ball Mastery program, I tell all of them, I say, first and foremost, you got to remember, you're really doing this for you, and it's okay.
Yes. Yes, in the trailer to the show, I say, thinking of yourself isn't selfish, it's brave. And more people need to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I'm going to post all your links in the show notes so everybody can get a hold of you. Before people turn off our episode today, I will be adding one of your videos that you have very generously shared with us so that people can experience a bit of this. And I would love for feedback. I would love for people to connect with you and let you know how it made them feel. And is there anything that we didn't talk about today that you wanted to mention before we go?
Yeah. Well, two things, two tiny.
Yes.
One is that the video that you're showing was just something I did in my ballroom a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, great.
That's really kind of more like Ashana unplugged.
Okay.
I'll give you experience, and when you want the real recorded music experience, go to the YouTube videos because that's like the big
I'm
full.
going to check it out tonight, right after my dinner. I'm going to put on my headphones, maybe light a candle, and I'm going to just
Just
experience it.
listen, yeah. So well, we did it that way so that you could just really see the beautiful bowls and hear them. But the second thing is that I have written a book called Crystal Singing Bowls: The Angelic Sound of Healing, Relaxation, and Spiritual Awakening, and it has been a bestseller on Amazon in its little niche, and it looks like this.
Beautiful.
And,
I
and
love
we
that.
Yeah, and we just recorded the audio version, which is out, so you can get it on Audible. And the audio version is beautiful because it's me doing
Okay.
narration, and we have all this little music floating in and out of it. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. So if you're interested about the bowls and you want to learn more, and it's full of stories, and you get companion videos with it.
I
So
love that. It's very
so
interactive.
that's that. It is
I think
interactive.
you're
So.
all about the experience, having people really feel it and understand it and get the most that they can out of it, even with the upcoming program.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. I can't say enough how much I enjoyed learning from you today and connecting with you. And I so respect that you do what you love and that you've made a living out of it and that you've helped many people. That is not something that many people get to do. And you've put in the work, definitely. And I really appreciate you coming here and sharing it with us and teaching me quite a bit of things that I didn't know about previously. And I can't wait to discover more. So thank you for your conversation today.
Oh, thank you, Nelia. Thank you, and blessings to everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe or leave a review. See you next week on the Giving Starts With You podcast.